to go ahead and dive into the Big 12, the conference of many, as we know this year, the final year of Bedlam. We got all the group of five schools joining, and then Texas and Oklahoma, their last hurrah in this conference. So we're going to start. We're going to go with our conference championship predictions, and then we'll go with records and from there. So, Rod, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go. So my top two in the Big 12, I have TCU at 10-2 with losing to Texas in the Big 12 championship. Texas at 12-0. I'm buying the hype. I think that Texas gets the year off to a huge start with a win in Tuscaloosa, and they just ride the momentum. I think high-flying offense, and they just dominate the Big 12 and probably go in with a number 2 ranking into the college football playoff.
I have a very, very similar top two as well. I mean, the exact same top two. I have Texas at 11-1. I think they're gonna drop their only game of the season to Iowa State in Ames. It's a scary place to play, but besides that, I'm fully on the train with you. Texas is back. Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning. Worst case scenario is your quarterback. You're in a good spot. I trust the drunk bastard Sark. I think it's gonna happen. I've got TCU at second place in the conference championship as well. I've got them dropping to Texas and to Baylor back-to-back weeks. And then I also have them losing to Texas in the Big 12 championship. Texas will be a playoff team, in my opinion.
So both the boys got the Longhorns. So my number one team is also Texas at 11-1, 8-1 in conference with a win over Bama. Their loss will be the week before Nick's predicted loss at TCU. And I have them at 11-1. Number two, who they will be playing in the conference title, will be Kansas State at 10-2 with losses to Texas. And they will lose the Sunflower Showdown to Kansas this year, which will be big. But Kansas then comes back into the Big 12 title, repeats, blocks Texas from the college football playoff before they head to the SEC.
I like that prediction. I have a very, I don't know how, so we should preface this and say we've doing all our conference predictions on playoffpredictors.com, and it's a really good site for people to check out. You can kind of
Give us money.
Give us money, please. Yes, they have enough ads though, so I suggest an ad blocker if you go on the site, so you can go through and make all your predictions. And somehow my Big 12 predictions had Kansas State at 3-9 and 0-9 in the conference. I'm not too sure how that happened because I don't think they're going to be that bad, but sometimes shit just happens. So, Matt, I've got a very, very different outlook on Kansas State for the year.
You got to believe in Howard. It's Howard's time to shine, baby. Another conference title going on that finger.
Howard Hamlin, sir. Well, I'm curious to see where y'all have OU this year because I have very mixed feelings on OU, but I have them going 10-2. I just am not quite convinced about Brent Venables as a head coach.
I do not have them quite at 10-2. I have them at 7-5. I am not high on Brent Venables at all. I am still a little mad about the Auburn opening when Brent Venables was like, no, I'm not going to go to a school like Auburn. I've got them at 7-5, losing to SMU, Texas. I've got Kansas beating them, Oklahoma State, and TCU as their 5 losses.
Dang, you're going with the SMU. I like that though. I got Oklahoma going 9-3 just because the schedule it's a lot more workable than I initially thought. Like going into it, I figured I would have Oklahoma somewhere around there, kind of like last year. But I have their losses, 3 of them being within a 4-game span. They lose to Texas. They go into the bye week, beat UCF, and then they lose back-to-back games against Kansas and the final Bedlam. Oklahoma State just has to win that game, so I'm going with them. Mike Gundy is not going to let Oklahoma walk away a winner before this rivalry ends.
Good predictions. I like those. All right, another question. I actually have a couple for y'all. So who do y'all think of the new teams in the Big 12, BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston? Who do y'all think has the most success this year, conference record-wise?
I would say UCF. I think coming into this conference with Malzahn, obviously Power 5 experience, but they just have They have the best roster suitable to be able to compete against these teams. I think it's going to be a rough year for the other three though that have joined. I don't have any of the other three making a bowl game. I only have UCF making a bowl game.
I got UCF middle of the pack at 6-6. Rod, I know you're the same. I'm high on
Yeah.
Houston.
Yep, me too. I have Houston at 10-2.
I have Houston at
What?
10-2 as well.
I have them at 3-9.
They're your Kansas State for me.
You're outvoted.
I got UCF at 7-5, making a bowl game. And then Houston at 3-9, finishing last. Cincinnati at 13th, going 4-8, and BYU going 5-7.
Okay.
I've got BYU at the absolute bottom of this conference at 2-10, 0-9 in the
Whoa.
conference.
I have BYU at 4-8, and then Cincy at 7-5. I think the kind of Cincy golden era is going to fall off a cliff now that Luke Fickle's gone too.
Oh, it's so
You have to take that into consideration as
Cincinnati's
well.
done for a while.
Yeah. The days of Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant and Desmond Ritter are long gone.
Long gone.
Yeah.
Where do you guys have the Baylor Bears this year?
8-4.
8-4. I got them at 6-6.
Mm.
I get the Aranda hype, but also at the same time, I just think the period to capitalize on the momentum kind of reset with how last year went, and I just don't know with just how many teams there are and some of the mid-tier teams making that separation back up, like Kansas, obviously, well, who's a cellar dweller, and then TCU, Texas Tech, and Kansas State. It's just hard to slot them back up into that top tier now. I just don't think they have the ability to compete week in, week out with these teams.
That's fair. I'm buying into the Aranda hype. I've got them at 9-3, 4th place finish in the Big 12. I just see the wins on their schedule. I just see it happening for them. I'm high on Baylor this year. I'm kind of all over the place in the Big 12. Apart from, like, to me, it's Texas, TCU, kind of everyone else.
Yeah, I think so too. That's kind of how I am too. And with just Houston surprising everyone, I think that's kind of how it's likely to go. All right.
Holgerson's going to make the jump quickly.
I think so. All right. Final question about the Big 12. We didn't talk about this, but who do y'all think, if you had to pick one player from the Big 12 to be a Heisman finalist, who do you think it'll be? I think we probably all have the same answer, but
can we omit Texas players?
Can we get rid of Quinn Ewers? No Quinn Ewers as the choice?
I guess so, yeah, because if you had to pick, it would be Quinn Ewers, but non-Quinn Ewers.
Jalen, baby.
Yep, that's who I was going to say too. From Kansas quarterback name.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Oh, man.
You know, another sneaky good pick, Will Howard.
Yeah, Will Howard's a good pick. I'm high on Kansas.
I am too. I got him at 8-4.
I have him at 8-4 as well.
And then I'm expecting a bowl win as well. Get the Leipold train rolling.
God, a sleeper Heisman, man. Dylan Gabriel, if he's healthy and Oklahoma's good, that's an okay shout, but I don't see it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, but yeah, if it's not Quinn Ewers, I don't think the Big 12 will have a Heisman finalist.